And the Marine Corps is like, hey, guess what? We are nuts, man. Controlled chaos, let's bring it. And I'm like, that's my team right there. And at the end of this video, I'm going to share the one question I asked myself that really made me sign the contract to go into the Marine Corps. The reason I say the military is not for everybody is because it's just like any other job. Some people play sports, they become athletes. Some people don't want to be athletes. There's jobs and there's fits for every single person. It doesn't mean that you're better or worse than anybody else. So let's go ahead and throw that concept right out the window. I see people that are like, yeah, man, I wanted to join the military. I didn't join, and they feel bad about themselves. And you shouldn't, bro. It's just not for you. Window washing skyscrapers is not for me because that shit looks terrible. The reason the military is a little bit different is because there's many jobs under one umbrella. These are MOSs, right? Your military occupational specialty. That's where you can try to decide what you want to do, and you can get a jump start into that career. So let's say you want to be an aviation mechanic. Perfect. Instead of going to school, you're a little bit more hands-on. You're in the thick of it. Now, you also have to deal with the military stuff, and that's where branch selection really matters. But that's a whole nother video, man. I already have one on the channel right now. It's a little bit old. Link is in the description for you. You got to think about why the military is that fit. If you're trying to jump school a little bit, you're like, hey, college just isn't for me. It's not my thing, but I want to get into a profession. I want to get into a career field that I know I'm going to enjoy. I'm truly going to love later on in life. That might be it. You might be willing to put up with some of the BS that the military brings you because you have your eyes set on the prize, right? Like on that end goal. At the same time, it's hard because when you're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, whatever it is, you don't know what you like sometimes. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I still don't know what I want to do. It's one of those things that makes it a little bit more complicated because you're not going in for a job interview and you're like, all right, if I get the job and I don't like it, I'm out, bro. I'm going to quit. It doesn't really matter to me. That's the hard part because now you're stuck in something that you cannot just leave. You can't back out. That's why this is such a major decision. And a lot of people struggle with this. And some people just go in blindly. I went to boot camp with people like that. Like, no shit. They were showing up, had no idea what the Marine Corps was. One of the dudes in the forming phase, the very first week or two were there. He thought that he was getting sent down there to be a cook. And he was like, yeah, like, when are you going to teach us how to cook? And they're like, bro, this is the Marine Corps. What are you talking about? Because the recruiter just told him like, hey, man, you want to be a cook? Here you go. Boom. Send him down there. It was messed up. People do it all the time, though. They need to meet those numbers. So you got to be careful with the recruiters and everything and what they're telling you. You got to have a why. You got to have a reason that's underneath it. A lot of times in my stream when I'm talking to people or even on videos and they ask a question or they say something like, hey, I'm thinking about joining the military or I've already signed up, you know, da-da-da. I'm like, well, why did you join, man? What makes you interested? A lot of people are like, man, I never really thought about that. I just, it just kind of looked fun. I want to try it out. I want to see what it's like. That's going to be rough. If you're going into the military because you want to try it out, you want to see what it's like, that's hard to do because there's nothing underneath it. What are you going to fall back on your worst day? When you miss home, when you're beaten up, when you feel isolated, when you feel down on yourself, when you failed something and you're stuck in a position now of, I don't know if I even want to be here. And you have a voice in your head that's like, well, I don't know what to tell you. You wanted to try this out. So having something that's deeper, something that's underneath it is going to help that so much more. And this is why I say it's not for everybody because not everybody has that why. Not everybody wants to do it. Some people just want to try it out, see what it's like. I know you guys probably seen videos where people are like, the 100% reason why you should never join the military or this is why the military is the greatest thing ever. It's not, bro. It is a medium. It is not a one shoe fits all. This is not just an umbrella that everybody can come into and everybody's going to absolutely love it. Like I said before, it doesn't make you a lesser person. It doesn't make you a greater person. It's just something you chose to do for yourself. Whether you made a decision to join or not. Not making a choice is also making a choice, right? If you decide not to do it, that's still an action. But it doesn't change who you are. It doesn't change you as a person. It's just important to really understand these things because those videos are a little bit misleading in some sorts because they're telling people, look at me, this is all these things I accomplished because I went through the military. It was the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. And that's how I feel personally. Yes, I feel the same way. I would go back and do it again tenfold because it helped me so much in my life. But at the same time, not everybody's going to feel that way. Some people come out and they're like, dude, that was the worst thing. I couldn't wait to get out. I hated every second of it. I wasted time. I could have been like my buddies in college. So these people will make these videos that's all for it or all against it. And I'm here to tell you, it's neither. There are things I loved about the military. There are things I hated about the military. You can have a job that you love and you hate the managers. You kind of deal with the same thing in the military. You're going to have position of power, these leadership roles where you don't like them and maybe they don't like you. Maybe you hate the job you're in. And in the military, you have to wait a couple years before you can do what's called a lateral move, like 2 years, to go to a different job. Those are things to really consider when you're getting into it. And that gray area is why I'm saying the military is not for everyone. But think about it. That's not catchy enough for YouTube. If it's like, hey, the military is good and it's bad, nobody's going to watch that video. So that's why you see the 100% hate it, 100% love it. The experience that I had inside of the military is going to be vastly different from yours. I went to boot camp with the dude. Then we went to MOS school together. Then we went to the fleet together. He was in my unit, the beginning of boot camp, all the way until we got out. Same unit, same rotation, same everything. His experience, vastly different. And I was going to do this whole video talking to the people that wanted to join the military and didn't, because a lot of people hold that against themselves. So if you're sitting there, you're watching this right now and you're like, but if I don't go into the military, I'm going to feel bad about myself. Like I need to prove something to myself. A lot of people want to prove something to themselves. Military, it doesn't create character, it reveals it. That's the big difference when you go into the military. You're going to be shown parts of yourself that you didn't know you have, like determination, drive, and being able to pull something from nothing. When you're completely defeated, you're at your bottom and you still push through, and you're going to have that moment like, dang, I can't believe I did that. That's absolutely nuts. But at the same time, if you don't go, that doesn't mean that you're less of a person. That doesn't mean anything like that. I was in the Marine Corps with some people that were pure shitbags, bro. They just didn't care. That wasn't their thing. They didn't want to be there. They made that clear to everybody. They drugged their feet. They did bare minimums and they still got through. So it's not a question of your character of only tough people going. No, bro, like people make it through all the time that aren't. They have enough grit or whatever it is to get through, do the bare minimums and bounce. But on the other hand, there are some people that were headed in a terrible direction in life, and the military bounced them to the complete opposite, and they become successful, empathetic, loving, caring people and became leaders outside into businesses where they really helped foster that environment. It's not for everyone. That's just the way it is. I just hate these videos where people are putting people down that don't join. It's okay to not join, but it's also great if you do join, because there's the benefits of it later on in life. Yeah, maybe it sucks. Maybe you don't like it. Maybe that's what that choice is. And you're like, man, this sucks. I'm stuck in a job I don't like. That's what happened to me in the beginning. You get out, you get benefits, you have a new way of seeing things. You have these little, what they call soft skills, these leadership skills, and you have these different traits that get pulled out of you that you start to see in the military. It de-weeds a little bit. You might have had some bad habits going in, and now you don't have those anymore. Now you have structure, you have routine, you have a new way of handling business, and that can be great going back into the workforce or other avenues of life. You know, you're taking that with you. Now, before I close this out, as promised, I wanted to tell you guys, I wanted to share that one question I asked myself that made me sign that dotted line. I went through all of these thoughts myself. I would ask people, I'm like, man, what about joining the military? What's it going to be like? And they're like, oh, I hated it. The next guy's like, oh, I love it. Everybody has something different to tell me. But I finally got to a point where I'm like, man, if I don't do this, is this something I'm going to regret for the rest of my life? 10 years from now, am I going to look back and say, I wonder what it was like had I joined the military? What would that experience have been like for me? Is that something that's going to eat me up for the rest of my life? I want to be in the Marine Corps. I want to make my family proud. I want to have that title. I want that U.S. Marine on my chest. I want to have my name in history books of fighting in the nation's battles. Like, is that really going to eat me up inside? What about that brotherhood? I see Marines that been out for 40 years. They come up and they talk to each other like they're best friends having just met 2 minutes ago. Is that going to eat me up inside if I see that happening and being like, dang, man, I could have been a part of that brotherhood? It would have. For me, that would have absolutely eaten me up inside. That's what I always wanted ever since I was a kid. I would watch Steven Seagal and Rambo and all these different movies and these action heroes doing crazy things. I love guns. I love explosions. I love it. The Marine Corps was just the wildest branch. And I'm like, I'm a wild ass person. So that's a good fit. I think my personality is going to fit inside of the Marine Corps because I'm always saying weird stuff and I'm always reckless. I'm always high energy. I'm always going nuts. And the Marine Corps is like, hey, guess what? We are nuts, man. Controlled chaos. Let's bring it. And I'm like, that's my team right there. That's who I want to be with. So yeah, man, there's a lot of things going into it, but just do not hold it against yourself if it is not something that you wholeheartedly want to do. That is the premise of this. This entire video, man, is not for everybody, and that is okay. Find what is out there for you. If you guys want to talk about branches, we can talk about branches. Drop it in the comments below, because the branches can drastically change every single thing about your military experience. It's like different sports, man. You ask a football player what his experience is like, you ask a hockey player what their experience is like. Two completely different things, different experiences, kind of have the same objectives. And if you guys have any questions or anything like that, feel free to drop them below. And make sure you guys subscribe to this channel, because I'm always sharing this military knowledge and everything I have with you guys. I'm very transparent. I make tons of videos from comedy to military stuff, everything in between. There's something for everybody. So make sure you got those notifications turned on. And as always, a video is going to pop up on your screen I made just for you. And until next time, see ya.